What if the biggest threat to your memory isn't simply getting older, but quietly missing the very nutrients your brain has been craving for years? Imagine if every meal you eat could either help protect the billions of brain cells that store your memories, or slowly make them more vulnerable to damage. After the age of 60, the brain doesn't stop learning, but it does become more sensitive to the choices we make every single day. The fascinating part is that modern science is revealing certain everyday foods that may help nourish brain cells, support healthy communication between neurons, reduce harmful inflammation, and keep the mind sharper for longer. Today, let's explore what these foods really do inside the aging brain, and why your next meal may matter more than you ever imagined. As the years pass, many people begin to notice small changes that seem almost invisible at first. A name takes a little longer to remember. A familiar word sits just beyond reach. You walk into a room and pause for a moment, wondering why you came there. These experiences can feel unsettling, especially after the age of 60. They often raise an uncomfortable question: is my brain slowly giving up? But before fear takes over, it is worth understanding something remarkable. The aging brain is far more complex, resilient, and adaptable than many people believe. Growing older does not automatically mean losing your ability to think clearly or remember the moments that matter most. In fact, the brain continues to reshape itself throughout life, responding to the way you eat, sleep, move, learn, and interact with the world around you. Think of your brain as a living city that never sleeps. Inside it are billions of nerve cells, called neurons, constantly exchanging tiny electrical and chemical messages. Every memory you have, every face you recognize, every emotion you feel, and every decision you make depends on these cells communicating with extraordinary precision. Even while you are resting, your brain remains busy, repairing tissues, organizing memories, and preparing for another day of thinking and learning. It is one of the hardest working organs in the human body, despite making up only a small percentage of your total body weight. As we grow older, however, this incredible system begins to change. Blood flow to certain areas of the brain may gradually decrease. Some nerve connections become less efficient than they once were. Inflammation, which is the body's natural response to injury, can become more active than necessary. Harmful molecules produced during normal metabolism may slowly accumulate if the body's natural defenses become weaker. These changes happen quietly over many years, often without any obvious warning signs. They are part of normal aging, not necessarily a disease. This is where many people begin to misunderstand what science actually says. You may have heard claims that certain foods can completely regenerate the brain overnight or instantly replace every damaged brain cell. These promises sound exciting, but they are not supported by scientific evidence. The human brain is not like a broken machine where one missing part can simply be swapped for a new one. Biology is far more intricate than that. Real health improvements usually happen slowly, through consistent habits repeated over months and years rather than through quick fixes. Yet there is another side to this story that is genuinely inspiring. Although some brain cells can be lost with age or illness, the brain has an extraordinary ability known as plasticity. This simply means that it can adapt. It can strengthen existing connections, create new communication pathways, and improve how different regions work together. Even later in life, the brain continues learning from every experience you have, every conversation, every book you read, every walk you take, and every healthy meal you enjoy sends signals that influence how this remarkable organ functions. Imagine walking through a forest where a narrow path has been used every day for many years. The more people travel that path, the clearer and stronger it becomes. Brain connections work in a similar way. When you repeatedly challenge your mind, stay physically active, eat nourishing foods, and maintain healthy daily routines, you encourage these pathways to remain active and efficient. The brain responds to use. It is constantly deciding which connections should be strengthened and which ones can gradually fade away. Nutrition becomes especially important because every brain cell depends on a steady supply of energy and essential nutrients. Unlike many other organs, the brain cannot store large reserves of fuel. It relies on your daily choices to provide the building blocks needed for healthy cell membranes, neurotransmitters, and protective compounds that defend against damage. If those nutrients are consistently missing, the brain may struggle to perform at its best. If they are supplied regularly through a balanced diet, the environment surrounding brain cells becomes healthier and more supportive. Scientists often describe this as creating favorable conditions rather than producing miracles. Food does not magically erase decades of aging, but it can help reduce unnecessary stress placed on brain cells. It can support healthy blood vessels that carry oxygen and nutrients. It can help lower excessive inflammation. It can provide antioxidants that protect delicate brain tissues from everyday wear and tear. It can even support the production of chemicals involved in learning, attention, and memory. These effects may seem small when viewed individually, but together they can influence how well the brain functions over time. Another fascinating discovery is that the brain and the rest of the body are deeply connected. A healthy heart helps deliver oxygen-rich blood to the brain. Stable blood sugar helps provide a steady energy supply. Good sleep allows memories to be organized and stored more effectively. Regular movement encourages the release of natural substances that support healthy nerve connections. Even the bacteria living in your digestive system appear to communicate with the brain through what researchers call the gut-brain connection. This means caring for your brain is never about one single organ. It is about supporting the entire body that keeps it alive. Perhaps the most hopeful message is that age does not erase the brain's desire to learn. Researchers continue discovering evidence that older adults can develop new skills, strengthen memory, and improve cognitive performance through consistent healthy habits. Progress may happen more gradually than it did in youth, but it is still possible. The brain remains a living, changing organ until the very end of life. It responds to care, to nourishment, to curiosity, and to purpose. Every healthy choice becomes another small investment in the millions of tiny processes taking place inside your head every second. So before we explore the specific foods that science has linked with better brain health, it is important to remember one simple truth. No single ingredient has the power to reverse aging on its own, but the foods you choose every day can help create the conditions in which your brain has its best chance to protect its cells, strengthen its connections, and continue serving you with clarity, resilience, and memory for many years to come. Now that we understand the aging brain is constantly responding to the environment we create for it, an important question naturally follows. If food cannot perform miracles, why do scientists continue studying certain foods so closely? The answer is surprisingly simple. Every brain cell is alive. It needs fuel, protection, and a continuous supply of nutrients to function properly. Just as a garden flourishes when it receives water, sunlight, and healthy soil, the brain performs best when it is nourished consistently over time. The goal is not to search for a magical superfood but to build a pattern of eating that supports memory, concentration, and long-term brain health. One of the most studied foods for the brain is fatty fish. Fish such as salmon, sardines, trout, and mackerel are naturally rich in omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats are not simply another source of calories. They become part of the outer structure of brain cells, helping them remain flexible and communicate efficiently with one another. Imagine trying to send an important message through a damaged telephone wire. The message may become weak or delayed. Healthy brain cells depend on strong and flexible membranes so that signals can travel smoothly. Research suggests that people who regularly consume enough omega-3 fats often maintain healthier brain function as they grow older. While eating fish cannot guarantee perfect memory, it may help support the brain's natural communication system and reduce chronic inflammation that can slowly interfere with cognitive performance. If fish is not a regular part of your diet, there are other helpful options. Walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds also provide plant-based omega-3 fats. Although they are processed differently by the body than the omega-3s found in fish, they still contribute to an overall healthy eating pattern and provide valuable nutrients that support both the heart and the brain. Another remarkable group of foods comes from nature's brightest colors. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and other deeply colored berries contain natural compounds called flavonoids and antioxidants. Every day, your body's normal activities produce unstable molecules known as free radicals. Over many years, these molecules may contribute to wear and tear inside cells, including those in the brain. Antioxidants help neutralize some of these harmful molecules before they can cause excessive damage. Think of them as a protective team working quietly behind the scenes to help maintain the health of delicate brain tissue. Scientists have become increasingly interested in berries because studies suggest they may support memory and learning by helping protect nerve cells and encouraging healthy communication between them. Leafy green vegetables deserve just as much attention. Spinach, kale, collard greens, and similar vegetables are packed with vitamins, minerals, and plant nutrients that the brain depends on every day. They provide vitamin K, folate, lutein, and other compounds associated with healthy cognitive aging. These vegetables also support healthy blood vessels, allowing oxygen and nutrients to reach brain cells more effectively. It is easy to overlook vegetables because they seem ordinary, but sometimes the simplest foods have the greatest long-term impact. A plate filled with colorful vegetables may not seem exciting in the moment, yet over months and years it becomes part of a lifestyle that gently supports brain health every single day. Then there are walnuts, often called one of nature's brain-shaped foods. While their appearance is only a coincidence, their nutritional value is not. Walnuts contain healthy fats, antioxidants, vitamin E, and several plant compounds that scientists believe may help protect brain cells from oxidative stress. They also provide protein and fiber, making them a satisfying snack that supports overall metabolic health. A healthy metabolism benefits the brain because stable blood sugar helps maintain a steady energy supply throughout the day. Eggs are another valuable food that sometimes receives less attention than it deserves. They contain high-quality protein and important nutrients, including choline. Choline is used by the body to produce acetylcholine, a chemical messenger involved in memory and learning. As people grow older, maintaining adequate choline intake becomes increasingly important because this nutrient supports normal brain function. Eggs also provide vitamin B12, especially when included as part of a balanced diet, since vitamin B12 deficiency becomes more common with age and may contribute to memory problems. Ensuring adequate intake through food or medical guidance can be especially valuable. Olive oil has been a cornerstone of traditional Mediterranean eating patterns for generations. Unlike highly processed fats, extra virgin olive oil contains healthy monounsaturated fats along with natural plant compounds that may help reduce inflammation. Researchers have repeatedly found that dietary patterns emphasizing olive oil, vegetables, legumes, nuts, fish, and whole grains are associated with healthier aging and better cognitive function. This does not mean olive oil alone is responsible. Rather, it highlights the importance of an entire way of eating built around nourishing, minimally processed foods. Turmeric has also attracted scientific interest because it contains curcumin, a naturally occurring compound with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Laboratory studies have shown promising effects, although researchers continue investigating how much curcumin the human body can absorb and how it may influence long-term brain health. While turmeric should not be viewed as a cure for memory loss, using it regularly as part of a balanced diet may contribute to overall healthy eating habits. Dark chocolate is another food that often surprises people. High-quality dark chocolate with a high cocoa content contains flavonoids that may support healthy blood flow, including blood flow to the brain. Better circulation means brain cells receive oxygen and nutrients more efficiently. However, moderation remains important because chocolate can also contain added sugar and calories. A small portion of dark chocolate can fit into a healthy lifestyle without replacing more nutrient-dense foods. Whole grains such as oats, brown rice, barley, and whole wheat also play a meaningful role. The brain requires a constant supply of glucose for energy, but it performs best when that energy arrives steadily rather than in sudden spikes. Whole grains digest more slowly than refined carbohydrates, helping maintain stable blood sugar levels. This steady energy supply allows the brain to function more efficiently throughout the day and may help reduce the energy crashes that affect concentration and mental clarity. Even something as simple as drinking enough water deserves attention. The brain is made up largely of water, and even mild dehydration can affect concentration, attention, and short-term memory. Many older adults become less aware of thirst, making hydration an important daily habit rather than something to think about only when feeling thirsty. Perhaps the most valuable lesson from all these foods is that none of them works in isolation. A handful of blueberries cannot erase years of unhealthy habits. A piece of salmon cannot instantly sharpen fading memory. Brain health grows from consistency. It is built meal by meal, day after day, through countless ordinary choices that may seem insignificant in the moment but become powerful when repeated over years. The real strength lies not in chasing a miracle ingredient but in creating a colorful, balanced, and nourishing pattern of eating that provides the brain with the energy, protection, and building blocks it needs to keep learning, adapting, and preserving the memories that shape who we are. While it is encouraging to know that certain foods can support the brain, it is equally important to understand that some everyday habits quietly work in the opposite direction. Many people spend years searching for the perfect food to improve memory, yet they overlook the hidden factors that slowly place stress on the brain every single day. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with clean water while a small hole in the bottom allows it to leak continuously. No matter how much water you pour in, progress remains limited until the leak is addressed. In much the same way, nourishing foods can only do so much if the brain is constantly exposed to conditions that undermine its health. One of the biggest concerns in modern diets is the growing reliance on ultra-processed foods. These are foods that often come in colorful packages, have long ingredient lists, and are designed to be convenient and highly appealing. Chips, sugary cereals, packaged snacks, processed meats, sweetened drinks, and many ready-to-eat meals may save time, but they often provide far more calories than nutrients. They tend to contain excessive amounts of added sugar, unhealthy fats, sodium, and artificial additives while lacking the vitamins, minerals, fiber, and natural plant compounds that the brain depends on. When these foods become a regular part of daily life, the body may begin to experience chronic low-grade inflammation. Inflammation itself is not always harmful. It is an important part of the body's defense system, helping fight infections and repair injuries. The problem begins when inflammation remains active for months or even years without a clear reason. Scientists believe this ongoing inflammatory state may gradually affect blood vessels, disrupt normal communication between brain cells, and increase the risk of cognitive decline over time. It is not something that happens overnight. It develops quietly, often without obvious symptoms, making it easy to ignore until noticeable changes begin to appear. Excess sugar presents another challenge. The brain certainly needs glucose for energy, but there is a significant difference between the natural sugars found in whole fruits and the large amounts of added sugars found in soft drinks, candies, desserts, and many processed foods. Consistently consuming too much added sugar can lead to repeated spikes in blood glucose levels. Over time, this may contribute to insulin resistance, a condition in which the body's cells respond less effectively to insulin. Researchers continue exploring how insulin resistance may affect the brain, and growing evidence suggests it can interfere with learning, memory, and overall cognitive performance. High blood sugar may also damage small blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to the brain. Just as a healthy garden depends on a reliable irrigation system, the brain depends on an extensive network of tiny blood vessels delivering everything its cells need to survive. When these vessels become damaged, brain cells may not receive the support they require to function at their best. Another hidden enemy is high blood pressure. Many people call it the silent condition because it often develops without noticeable symptoms. Yet inside the body, elevated blood pressure places continuous strain on blood vessels, including those that nourish the brain. Over many years, this strain may reduce blood flow, damage delicate vessels, and increase the risk of stroke or vascular changes that affect memory and thinking. This is one reason why protecting heart health and brain health are closely connected. A healthy heart supports a healthy brain because every heartbeat delivers life-sustaining oxygen to billions of neurons. Sleep is another factor that is often underestimated. Some people believe sleeping fewer hours simply means having more time in the day, but the brain sees sleep very differently. During deep sleep, remarkable processes take place behind the scenes. Memories from the day are strengthened and organized. Waste products produced by normal brain activity are cleared more efficiently. Hormones involved in repair and restoration become active. Without enough quality sleep, the brain struggles to complete these essential tasks. You may notice difficulty concentrating, slower thinking, irritability, or forgetfulness after just one poor night's sleep. When poor sleep continues for months or years, its effects may become much more significant. Dehydration is another surprisingly common problem, especially among older adults. As people age, the natural sensation of thirst often becomes weaker. This means someone may already be mildly dehydrated before realizing they need water. Since the brain contains a large amount of water, even mild dehydration can influence attention, reaction time, and short-term memory. Sometimes what feels like mental fog may simply be the brain asking for adequate hydration. Nutritional deficiencies also deserve careful attention. Vitamin B12 is particularly important because it helps maintain healthy nerve cells and supports the production of red blood cells that carry oxygen throughout the body. As people grow older, absorbing vitamin B12 from food becomes more difficult for some individuals due to natural changes in digestion. A deficiency may contribute to fatigue, numbness, balance problems, and memory difficulties. Fortunately, healthcare professionals can identify this deficiency through appropriate testing and recommend dietary changes or supplements when needed. Vitamin D has also become an area of growing scientific interest. Although it is well known for supporting bone health, researchers are investigating its role in brain function as well. Low vitamin D levels have been associated with poorer cognitive performance in some studies, although scientists continue exploring exactly how strong this relationship is. Maintaining healthy vitamin D levels through sensible sun exposure, diet, or supplements under medical guidance may contribute to overall well-being. Think of cognitive reserve as building alternative roads within a city. If one road becomes blocked, traffic can still reach its destination using another route. Similarly, a brain that has spent years learning, exploring, and solving problems may develop additional neural pathways that help maintain function later in life. This does not eliminate aging, but it may help the brain remain more flexible when facing everyday challenges. Social connection is another surprisingly powerful protector of brain health. Human beings are naturally social creatures. Conversations require attention, memory, emotional understanding, language, and decision-making all at the same time. Every meaningful interaction becomes a gentle mental workout. Spending time with family, friends, neighbors, or community groups stimulates the brain in ways that are difficult to reproduce through solitary activities alone. Loneliness, on the other hand, has become an increasing concern around the world. Long periods of social isolation may contribute to depression, anxiety, reduced physical activity, and declining cognitive function. Maintaining relationships does not require large social gatherings every day. Sometimes a thoughtful conversation with a close friend, sharing a meal with loved ones, volunteering in the community, or simply checking on a neighbor provides valuable emotional and mental stimulation that benefits both the heart and the brain. Managing stress is equally important. Life inevitably brings challenges, especially as people grow older. Health concerns, financial responsibilities, retirement, caring for loved ones, or grieving the loss of friends can all create emotional strain. Short periods of stress are a normal part of life, but chronic stress places the brain under continuous pressure. Elevated stress hormones may interfere with concentration, learning, and memory when they remain high for extended periods. Fortunately, stress management does not always require complicated techniques. Spending time in nature, practicing slow breathing, praying, meditating, reading quietly, listening to calming music, or simply enjoying moments of gratitude can help reduce mental tension. These activities remind the brain that it is safe to shift from constant alertness into recovery and restoration. A calmer mind often thinks more clearly because it is no longer overwhelmed by unnecessary stress signals. Hydration also fits naturally into this larger picture. Water supports nearly every process occurring within the body, including those inside the brain. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps maintain attention, alertness, and mental clarity. Older adults should pay particular attention because the feeling of thirst often becomes less noticeable with age. Making water a regular part of daily routines rather than waiting until thirst appears can help prevent unnecessary dehydration. Perhaps the most encouraging discovery is that these habits work together rather than separately. Healthy meals provide nutrients needed for exercise. Exercise improves sleep quality. Better sleep strengthens memory. Lower stress encourages healthier eating choices. Learning new skills becomes easier when the brain is well rested and properly nourished. Social interaction often motivates people to remain active and emotionally engaged. Each habit reinforces the next, creating a powerful cycle that supports healthy aging from multiple directions. This is why researchers increasingly emphasize patterns instead of perfection. Missing one workout, enjoying an occasional dessert, or having a restless night does not determine your future. What matters most is the overall direction of your daily choices. The brain responds to consistency. Every nourishing meal, every peaceful night's sleep, Every walk through the park, every meaningful conversation, every new skill learned, and every quiet moment spent reducing stress becomes another signal telling your brain that it is worth protecting, strengthening, and supporting as it continues adapting throughout the remarkable journey of life. There is a quiet belief that often follows people as they grow older. It is the idea that the most meaningful chapters of life are already behind them, that the brain has reached its limit, and that each passing year can only bring decline. This belief is understandable because aging changes the body in many visible ways. Hair turns gray, muscles lose strength more easily, and recovery takes longer than it once did. But when it comes to the brain, this story is far more hopeful than many people realize. While aging does bring natural changes, it does not erase the brain's remarkable ability to adapt, learn, and respond to the care it receives. The human brain remains one of the most extraordinary organs ever studied, and even after the age of 60, it continues to surprise scientists with its resilience. Think for a moment about everything your brain has experienced over the course of a lifetime. It has learned languages, recognized thousands of faces, solved countless problems, remembered birthdays, celebrated victories, recovered from disappointments, and guided you through moments of joy and hardship. Every experience has left tiny marks within an intricate network of billions of neurons. Your memories are not simply stored like files inside a cabinet. They are living patterns of connections that continue changing as you gain new experiences. This means your story is never truly finished. Every conversation, every lesson, every new place you visit, and every meaningful relationship continues shaping the brain long after youth has passed. One of the greatest gifts we can give the aging brain is curiosity. Curiosity is much more than asking questions. It is a way of approaching life with openness rather than fear. When you become curious, your brain becomes active. You pay closer attention, notice new details, connect ideas, and strengthen the mental pathways involved in learning. This is why lifelong learners often describe feeling mentally energized regardless of their age. Their brains are continually being challenged in healthy and meaningful ways. Curiosity does not require formal education or advanced degrees. It can begin with simple daily experiences, reading a book on a topic you have never explored before, learning to cook a traditional recipe from another culture, identifying birds in your neighborhood, growing flowers in a garden, practicing photography, or understanding how the stars move across the night sky all encourage the brain to form fresh connections. Even asking thoughtful questions during conversations keeps the mind engaged. Every new experience reminds the brain that it still has work to do. Purpose is another powerful influence on brain health. People who wake each morning with a sense of meaning often remain mentally active because they continue participating in life. Purpose does not have to involve a career or large achievements. It may be caring for grandchildren, volunteering in the community, helping neighbors, sharing life experiences with younger generations, creating art, or tending a small garden. These activities provide structure, emotional fulfillment, and opportunities to think, plan, communicate, and solve problems. The brain thrives when it feels connected to something larger than itself. Movement continues playing an important role throughout every stage of life. It is never too late to become more physically active within your own abilities. Gentle walks, stretching, swimming, cycling, tai chi, or light strength exercises all encourage better circulation while supporting balance, coordination, and confidence. Many older adults avoid movement because they fear falling or becoming injured. Yet carefully chosen physical activity often helps reduce those very risks by strengthening muscles and improving stability. Every movement sends signals throughout the body that support healthy blood flow and nourish the brain. Meaningful relationships also become increasingly valuable with age. Human connection is more than emotional comfort. It exercises the brain in countless ways. During a conversation, your brain listens, interprets words, remembers details, recognizes facial expressions, responds emotionally, and chooses appropriate language almost instantly. This remarkable coordination keeps multiple areas of the brain active at the same time. Sharing laughter with friends, telling stories with family members, participating in community gatherings, or simply enjoying tea with a neighbor can provide stimulation that no puzzle or electronic game can completely replace. Kindness may even play a role in supporting mental well-being. Acts of generosity often reduce feelings of isolation and strengthen social bonds. Helping another person creates a sense of purpose while encouraging positive emotional experiences. Although kindness may seem unrelated to memory, emotional health and brain health are deeply connected. A peaceful, fulfilled mind often functions more clearly than one burdened by chronic loneliness or emotional distress. Nutrition remains an essential part of this lifelong journey. Healthy eating should never become a temporary project lasting only a few weeks. Instead, it becomes a daily expression of respect for the body and the brain. Every colorful vegetable, every serving of healthy fats, every piece of fruit, every whole grain, and every nourishing meal becomes another opportunity to support billions of hardworking neurons. Rather than viewing healthy food as a restriction, it helps to see it as fuel for the remarkable organ that allows you to think, remember, create, and connect with the people you love. Rest is equally valuable. In a society that often celebrates constant busyness, moments of quiet reflection can easily be forgotten. Yet the brain benefits from periods of calm, sitting peacefully in nature, practicing gratitude, praying, meditating, or simply taking slow, mindful breaths allows the nervous system to recover from the pressures of daily life. These quiet moments remind us that health is not only built through activity but also through restoration. Perhaps the most encouraging lesson from modern neuroscience is that progress is rarely dramatic. The brain usually changes through small improvements repeated consistently over time. A healthy breakfast may not transform memory by tomorrow morning. One evening walk may not immediately sharpen concentration. Reading a single chapter of a book may not suddenly make someone wiser. But when these habits become part of everyday life, they gradually strengthen one another. Weeks become months, months become years. Tiny improvements accumulate into meaningful change. This understanding frees us from the unrealistic expectation of perfection. No one eats perfectly every day. No one sleeps perfectly every night. Everyone experiences stress, forgetfulness, and moments of discouragement. The goal is not perfection but persistence. Every healthy choice becomes another vote in favor of a stronger future. Every positive habit tells the brain that it is still needed, still valued, and still capable of growth. There is something deeply inspiring about realizing that the aging brain is not simply counting down the years. It is continuing a lifelong conversation with the choices we make every day. It listens to the foods we eat, the thoughts we cultivate, the people we spend time with, the challenges we embrace, the movements we practice, and the moments of peace we allow ourselves to experience. In return, it offers us the possibility of continued learning, meaningful memories, emotional resilience, and the wisdom that can only come from a life fully lived. Growing older is not merely about adding years to life but about adding life to those years, caring for the extraordinary brain that has carried you through every chapter so that it can continue helping you discover, remember, and appreciate the moments that still lie ahead. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The information presented is based on current scientific evidence, but individual health needs may vary. Always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you have a medical condition or take prescription medications.